Is the U.S. at risk for an inflation in 2021? And if so, should you care? And what are you going to do about it? In this video, we're going to look at the secret asset that the wealthy use to protect themselves and their families in turbulent times like potentially we're going to have in 2021. Now, look, I don't have a crystal ball and I can't predict the future, but you know the old saying, where there's smoke, there's fire? Well, there is smoke out there that we need to pay attention to, and we're going to address that and the secret asset in today's video. I'm Scott from Land Moto, and this channel is dedicated to helping you make your land ownership dreams a reality. It's easy to hear about the economy and just shrug it off. I mean, recession, depression, inflation, all this other stuff, the stock market crashes. What am I going to do about it? React to it? I'm just some dude trying to provide for my family, a lot like you. And it's not my fault or even your own fault that inflation pops up or a pandemic strikes. But you know what? There is hope. And that hope comes from learning the secret asset that allows the wealthy to protect their wealth and their family at the same time. The cool thing too is once you understand this secret asset, you too will be able to protect your family and benefit from it. Now, over the last few weeks, I've been noticing everywhere that there's news reports and YouTube videos literally on how the U.S. is at risk for inflation this year, 2021. Are you seeing that too? Warren Buffett, he's like the third richest man in the world. His partner, his right-hand man by the name of Charlie Munger, he recently came out and commented that, you know, if you look at the history of the world, no government in history has been able to print as much money as the U.S. has been printing and like come out unscathed. In fact, the government is about to print another like $1.9 trillion is what they're talking about. And, you know, no government in history has been able to pull that off without a crash or serious inflation. There's a billionaire. His name is Ray Dalio. You should look him up. He is also sounding the alarm for 2021. And there was also a Wall Street Journal article just over the weekend that was talking about how money managers are moving from stocks into precious metals, platinum specifically. A guy who wrote a book 20 years ago, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. His name is Robert Kiyosaki. He's the author. He's even indicating that we need to prepare for inflation now. His advice is that the only way to hedge against inflation is to use God's money. And if you're not familiar with that term, in Robert Kiyosaki's opinion, God's money is precious metals like gold and silver. But why gold and silver? Gold and silver, a lot of people turn to gold and silver during turbulent times because they have an intrinsic value. They never go to zero. Additionally, their price, unlike a dollar bill, is not controlled by the government. It's controlled by the laws of supply and demand. So you take gold and silver, and supply and demand dictates their price, not a government. But did you know, or can you think of another asset that never goes to zero? Think about that for a minute. Comment below if you can figure it out. The 1%ers of the world, they do know about this other asset that never goes to zero. For decades, the wealthy have been acquiring this one asset. Do you know what it is? It's land. The Washington Post a few years ago summarized it perfectly. Why the wealthy turn to land. And basically what they said was that what happens is the wealthy, they take money out of the stock market. They take their paper profits, they cash out, and they go and they park it somewhere safe. Safe is land. Even in that article, they talk about how the main reason here is that land isn't going anywhere. You know the old saying, buy land they're not making anymore. Land is, in fact, the perfect secret asset that the wealthy use to weather economic storms. In fact, the wealthiest 1% of households in this country own 40% of the nation's non-home real estate. Think about that for a minute. Non-home real estate, the wealthiest 1% own 40% of that. Now, if you took up the top 100 landowners in America, they own as much land as you would find in New England minus Vermont. So take New England, Take out Vermont, and that's how much the top 100 landowners own of America. Now, that's more than 40, remember, 1% owns more than 40% of the nation's non-home real estate. 90% of the households, that's the other, 90% of the households own just 18% of that non-home real estate. A lot of people think that you have to be rich in order to own land, and that's definitely not true. Anyone can buy land. In fact, you can literally buy land with seller financing for as little as like $100 a month or $100 down. It's ridiculous how much you can buy land for in America. And you know what? If you're interested in that type of a strategy, be sure to check out the video here to continue learning more. The reality is that you can buy land, and that land holds its value against inflation. If you look at the land price growth from 1975 to present, land has grown at an average rate of 6.75% a year. 6.75% a year, and that's the land value, not including things that you put on that land like structures and homes, etc. The land value of America continues to go up. Why? Because they don't make it anymore. So if you're looking for a way that you can start to take control over your finances, take control over not letting things happen to you, but to start to think like the wealthy, it's time to take action. You know the wealthy secret now. So it's time to take action and keep your learning going, and I'll see you in the next video.